It is officially 1:12 p.m. We are now on the record. Matt, can you please swear in our witness, please?
Yes. Mr. Saavedra, if you could please raise your right hand so I may see it. Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give in this case will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, I swear.
Thank you very much. Thanks, Ken.
Thank you, Matt. I appreciate it. All right, before we get started, good afternoon, everyone. This is National Reporting Service, and we're here for the video deposition. We're going on record for this recording. Today's date is November 19th, 2025 at 1:12 p.m. This deposition is taking place electronically via Zoom. National Reporting Service is providing the Zoom conference room and operating the equipment. We're in the Circuit Court of the 11th Judicial Circuit in and for Miami-Dade County, Florida, for case number 2024-000063-CA01 for the case styled Xavier Jordan versus Diana Salazar Mendez. We are taking the video deposition of Marcelo Nicholas Lasso Saavedra. Counsel, will you please state your appearance for the record?
Richard Diaz for the plaintiff.
Thank you so much. Counsel, your witness.
Thank you. Good afternoon, Mr. Lasso. How are you?
Good afternoon. Very good. Thank you.
Okay. My name, as you know, is Richard Diaz. I represent Javier Jordan, and today we're going to take your deposition. We're going to ask you some questions. We've had some of these questions asked of you before, but now this is a more formal deposition with regards to certain matters that we believe you have knowledge of. Okay?
Okay.
Before we get started, I just want to make sure, are you under any type of medication? Is there anything else that prevents you from being able today to listen to my questions and then give me truthful answers to those questions? Are you able to do that?
Yeah, I'm able to do that. I haven't taken any medication or else.
All right. Let me try to see if I can adjust this camera so that you can see me. Are you able to see me now or no?
No, I just see myself in the two screens.
All right, let me see if I can move the camera up a little bit here. Give me 1 second to adjust.
Mr.
Okay,
Diaz,
I see myself in the principal camera and in the secondary too. It's kind of weird.
yes, I have you highlighted because this is a videotape deposition, so you will see mostly just your own self, just to let you know.
Okay.
Oh, okay. Oh.
Okay. It's okay.
All right. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. First of all, where were you born?
In Guayaquil, March 15 of 1998.
And do you have a what is called a cedula number or another ID number?
Yes, 0924 041494.
Okay. And how far did you go in school?
Last grade of high school. I didn't graduate.
Okay. Have you ever taken any college courses?
No.
Okay. What kind of work have you done in your life once you were an adult, just generally?
I work with Leandro Norero as part of his organization. Let me take this off.
Sure. So, and I'm going to help the court reporter as we go forward with some of these spellings. Leandro Norero, is that Leandro? The last name is Norero, Norero?
Yes, correct.
Okay. Is he currently alive or dead?
He's dead.
And you know the approximate year when he passed away?
I know the exact date, 3 of October of 2022.
October 3rd of 2022?
Yes.
Okay. So was he a known trafficker? Well, let me ask the question differently. Was he a known international drug trafficker based out of Ecuador?
Yeah, he was international known trafficker and he was born in Ecuador, correct.
All right. And did he have any nicknames?
Anonymous, like the movie, like the one with the mask.
Yes.
That was his nickname.
Okay. And When did you start working with Leandro Norero?
When I was a teenager, around 16, 17 years old.
And did you work with him from that age until he passed away in 2022?
Yes.
And what
16.
kind of roles or responsibilities did you have with Mr. Norero while you worked for him?
I did like a certain numbers of things. I was a mini trafficker, like in doses. I was a bodyguard. I used to translate for him too when he took to the Albanians.
Now, when you say you spoke to the Albanians, do you speak their language?
No, they speak English, but Leandro didn't know English. He just
Okay.
speaks Spanish.
And when you're talking about the Albanians, would that be the Albanian mafia?
Yes, correct.
And while Mr. Norero was a drug trafficker, was his trafficking activities, did they involve the Albanian mafia?
Yeah, correct. They were his principal clients.
How going back to those days before 2022, how significant was the Albanian mafia in Ecuador?
It's a very big mafia. They are very, very present. Sometimes when they were going to arrive to the country, I had to go to see departments with Remax and broker agencies so they can rent them very luxury apartments.
And even to this day, in 2025, is the Albanian mafia still a stronghold, a power hold of criminal activity within Ecuador?
Yes.
And what type of criminal activities or syndicates are they involved in? Is it just drug trafficking or is it more than that?
Drug trafficking, gun trafficking, I don't know, trata de blancas, like prostitution. I don't know how to say that in English. And political influence and traffic too, like political favors and that.
Okay, so is it fair to say that they're involved in 3 different crimes, maybe more, but at the very least, drug trafficking, white slavery, prostitution,
Yes, correct.
and also public and government corruption?
Correct.
Okay. And were you ever Mr. Norero's bodyguard?
Yeah, I was one of his guys. You see, I started working with him exactly when I was 15, close to 16, because I was a school partner from his son. And his son, his name is Eder. He's deaf, so he used like cochlear implant. And there was this guy in the room, in the classroom, that used to cut his cable. So I once punched him because I wasn't agree with that. You know, I don't like people abusing of people that cannot defend themselves. So I got in trouble in school. Leandro went to defend myself because I was raised alone when I was 15. My parents rent me an apartment and sent me food and paid for school, but didn't see me, so I was alone. And he went to protect me to see I didn't get expelled. That's when I knew him.
Okay, so let me just kind of circle that around if I understand it correctly. The way that you come to meet and work for Leandro Norero is he had a kid who was in your school. The kid had a difficulty hearing. He was mute, and you helped him because he was being bullied by other kids.
He can talk. He couldn't listen, but he can talk.
Oh, so he was deaf but not mute.
Yes, correct.
And one of other kids would bully him, and you came to his aid. And in appreciation for that, Norero took care and attention for you in recognition of what you did for his son, and that's how you became associated with Norero.
Correct.
Right? Did he trust you quite a bit?
He trusts me a lot, actually.
A lot.
When he get in jail, he has to be on my cell. So I was the one that gave him like welcome. I don't know if you can call it like that, but yeah, he came. I was boss of my section, so I received him. I gave him my cell. I put him internet, like repaying the favors he did to me. When I got in jail, he paid lawyers. He sent me money. He sent me food. He called me every day. He was like my dad. Sometimes I used to call him like that, like that, Papa Leo. I used to call him, and we had a really close relationship.
It sounds like it. And so, did my understanding is that you're pretty, we call it tech savvy, meaning that you're very good with devices, electronics, internet, and things like that. Is that accurate? Tell me a little bit about that.
I'm very good with computer settings, programming, to falsify documents. I can make a document look pretty real. I'm good with technology. And he couldn't talk English, and he wasn't very good with technology. And I was like, I don't know, 12 years younger, so he used me for the things he couldn't understand and he couldn't do in matters of speaking or matters of technology too, besides being bodyguard. I'm also a black belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and kickboxing. And I know how to use guns too.
Okay. So within Lasso's, I'm going to call it Lasso's organization, did you hold a pretty significant position?
Yes, I was one of hombre de confianza, trusted man.
And at some point in time before he died, did you go to prison? Did you get arrested and have to go to prison?
Yes, you see, I started working with him, let's say in like infiltrated in the state when I was 18 years old, because there was this case, Huacho. He was like part of a guerrilla, and he kidnapped some reporters. So he asked me to get close to Fiscalia and send them some information, because he was one of his enemies, so he could be captured or killed. He was killed in the time, Huacho. And that's when I started working with the government too, because of him. The first time I got a protected witness in Ecuadorian cases when I was 18 years old.
Now, Guacho, if we're talking about the same Guacho, was Guacho a very high-level drug trafficker in Ecuador before he was killed?
Yeah, but like his principal business was guerrilla. But you know, all guerrillas are the same. They, in some point, they start trafficking.
Was Guacho a Colombian guerrilla or Ecuadorian?
It's hard to tell, because you know there's this Mataje is like a town in the border, and that is half Colombian, half Ecuadorian. He was born there, so you can say he was Colombian Ecuadorian or Ecuadorian Colombian.
Okay, all right. And so let's talk now about. I want to switch gears a little bit, and I want to talk about your relationship with some people who we have some interest in discussing, and that is, let's start first with Diana Salazar. Who is Diana Salazar today, and what prior position, if any, did she hold in the Ecuadorian government?
When I knew her, she was general attorney of the country, fiscal general in Spanish. And now she's Ecuadorian ambassador in Argentina, in Ecuadorian's embassy.
Do you know what years approximately she was the attorney general in Ecuador?
I think she was from 2021 to 2025. Maybe I'm getting wrong 1 year, more or less, but no more than that.
All right. And did you ever meet her in person?
Yes.
And based on the relationship with her, and we'll go into more details later, was she a corrupt Ecuadorian attorney general?
Yes.
Who, at the time when Diana Salazar was the attorney general, who was the president of Ecuador?
My uncle, Guillermo Lasso.
And is your uncle Guillermo Lasso alive today?
Yeah, he's alive.
And is
He's
he
very
in
old, but he's
custody?
alive.
I didn't mean to cut you off. Is he in custody, or is he at large?
I think he has some kind of investigations around him, but no prison or domiciliary arrest or anything like that. Danilo Carrera, his cuñado, his brother-in-law, he does have like a domiciliary arrest, but it's because he's very old. But it's funny because you see, when I was in jail, I saw people like 90 years old in jail. And this guy is like, I don't know, 75, 76, and he's in his home. So yeah, it's a curious case. You can call
Now,
it like that.
let's talk about that. You mentioned the name Daniel Correa. Was Daniel Correa a former president?
Danilo, his name is Danilo.
I'm sorry, Danilo Correa. Is he a former president of Ecuador?
No, Danilo Carrera, like the glasses.
Okay, Danilo Carrera. So
Yeah,
I misunderstood you. I thought you said Correa. So Danilo Carrera.
No.
So is Danilo Carrera your uncle's relative?
And he's his brother-in-law.
Brother. Okay. And what position, if any, did Danilo Carrera have in Ecuador?
He didn't have any political positions. You see, in Ecuador, there's like certain politicians, and all of them has business people, part of them, and they finance them. He was one of.
What kind of business did Danilo Carrera have in Ecuador?
Usually, politicians like state contracts because they can put over prices. They pay 50 million and they say it costs 100 million. So they take the 5 millions, the 50 millions that are more, and they parted between them.
All right. And who was the president of Ecuador when Diana Salazar was the attorney general?
Guillermo Lasso.
Guillermo Lasso. Okay. And he is your uncle?
Yeah, he's cousin to my grandpa, to the father of my father.
Cousin to your grandfather. Okay. Who succeeded the presidency of Ecuador after Lasso was no longer the president? Who was next?
Daniel Noboa.
And is Daniel Noboa still the president of Ecuador today?
Yes, he is.
To your knowledge, is President Noboa corrupt, as you mentioned earlier, Salazar was?
Yes, his political start is very rough because there was this politician that maybe he's the reason why we are here today, Fernando Villavicencio. And he was very uncomfortable for them because he talks about two cases, Gran Padrino and León de Troya, that involved Danilo Carrera and Guillermo Lasso principally. So they got into an arrangement. This I got to know because I talked a lot with Leandro, and he was very nervous about it. He didn't like politicians. They were trying to before Noboa's campaign. This was when Leandro was like this. This is a 2-time part story. They start talking about Villavicencio in the early 2022, and they wanted to make him go because he was in Asamblea Constituyente, like the Congress in the United States, taking these cases to get very known and very high. So he forced my uncle, Villavicencio forced my uncle to make cross-dead. Cross-dead means by Congress, by president, new elections. And that's when Villavicencio got killed.
So at some point in time, did Villavicencio, by the way, was his first name Fernando?
Yes, Fernando.
Okay. At some point in time, did Fernando Vicencio announce his interest in running for president of Ecuador?
Yes. The timeline is like this. Danilo Carrera and Guillermo Lasso make pacification commissionated of the jails. So they wanted the criminal bands to talk between each other and make peaces. And it didn't work because Pipo Chavarria, boss of Lobos, killed Leandro because he didn't want peace with nobody. And first Leandro died the 3rd of October of 2022. And in the end of 2023, beginnings of 2024, Guillermo Lasso makes cross-dead. and there was new elections. It's not like this. It's not instant. It took like 2 or 3 months before elections, but he already made the cross-step. So we already knew there was going to be a new president. That's when they contact with Lenin Moreno that put Daniel Noboa in his party. I think you say it in English, partido. Yes.
Party, yes.
Yeah, he put Daniel Noboa in his party, and they make an arrangement with Lasso and Carrera, and they wanted to kill Villavicencio and to blame Correism, that is in socialism. And from that, Noboa could take advantage. That was the arrangement.
So let's kind of talk about political parties. What political party did Lasso belong to?
His political party's name was Creo, number 21 list. Over there, there's a lot of parties, so
I know.
they put names and numbers.
But would you call Lasso's party leftist, middle, or right wing?
Right way.
Okay. And then Novoa, would you put him left, middle, or right wing?
He says he's middle left, but he's very known to be part of aristocracia Guayaquileña, aristocracy. There's a name that people put it to the high class of the coast. Like Guayaquil is the biggest city in the coast, they call it like that. So they all, Lasso and Carrera and Novoa, belong to the same social group.
Right. Okay, so Novoa was more towards the left, except when it came to Ecuadorian aristocracy.
He said he was from central left, but he's really from the right.
Okay. And how about Novoa?
Yeah, that's what I was telling you about.
We're talking about
Novoa said
okay.
he said he's central left, but he's right.
Okay. Now, what threat, if any, did Villavicencio's announcing his candidacy for president, what kind of threat, if any, did that pose to either Lasso or Novoa?
He threatened them because if he won the elections, Villavicencio started like a sports reporter, so he was more like a people's guy, like more of the pueblo. I don't know if you get the idea. And they didn't want him over there because he was gonna ruin some things. Mostly the arrangement they have with Albanian mob.
Now, so was Villavicencio more towards the left? He was more of a grassroots or people.
I think you can call him center, because he didn't get along with Correa, that is totally left, but he didn't get along with Lasso, that is totally right. So he was like in the middle spot.
Okay, so Villavicencio was kind of in the center.
Yes.
All right. Now, how popular was Villavicencio when he announced his candidacy?
At the beginning, I think he had like 15%, but he started growing really fast because he talks loud. So people like that, like populism, something like that.
And so let's talk about first. Let's stay with Villavicencio for a moment. Was he ultimately murdered in Ecuador, and if so, what day and in what city?
He died on 9th of August of 2023 in Quito, in capital of Ecuador, Quito.
And do you know the people who were responsible? I'm going to call it the hands-on, the actual murderers of Villavicencio. Do we know who they are, who they were?
Yes, it worked like that. I know this because when Leandro was killed, I was sent to the Lobos jail because they needed me, because I knew some things of him. I knew his contacts. I got sometimes favors from the guards because of my family. So they like having me around, and they told me that they were gonna forgive my life if I helped them while I got free. So I said, yes, what I could do. I didn't want to die over there. So when it started, Lobos and from his stepson, Esteban Aguilar. And they told that Lasso and Carrera wanted him to die, and they have two arrangements. They were gonna blame Correa and his political circle, besides some people, and they were gonna blame Choneros, that were the rival band from Lobos. That's why when Villavicencio died, they go for Fito and Adolfo Villamares as Fito, and they put him in maximum security jail called La Roca, the Rock. So that was the arrangement. Lobos got paid, and both of them can get away from his rivals too. And they took Villavicencio out of the way. So yes, win and win for everybody.
All right, let's let's break this down. We have a lot to cover here. So first of all, when Lasso died, were you still in prison?
Villavicencio.
No. When Lasso's still alive, right?
Yeah, he's alive.
Okay.
When I said cross dead is muerte cruzada, is an expression. He quits being president, but Congress lost it. Congress has to be elected again. So we lost a president and we lost Congress, and they call new elections. That's what happens when they call it cross dead.
Okay. When Leandro died, were you still in prison or were you already out?
No, I was still in prison.
You were not in prison?
I was in prison.
Okay. And then you said that you were sent to another prison after his death, correct?
When he died, I was sent to jail number 4, cárcel 4 in Spanish. And this is like a political jail. It's like 5-star jail, if you want to put it like that. But I didn't stay there long because there was this guy, Daniel Salcedo, that we got some issues. So he was really in the jail and he made me transfer. I got transferred to Guaranda, and in Guaranda, I get in contact with Lobos.
Okay, hold on. You're throwing out names, and it's gonna, when somebody reads the transcript, they're gonna be very confused here. So let's go slow.
Okay.
When Leandro died, you were transferred from one prison to prison number 4, correct?
Yeah, I was transferred from Latacunga in Latacunga City to jail number 4 in Quito.
And in Quito, that jail number 4, that's considered like a 5-star hotel.
It's like the best jail you can get in.
Okay. Who made that arrangement?
That was decided by SNAI, Secretaría Nacional de Atención Integral para los PPLs, National Service of Integral Attention to Inmates in English.
Okay. Now, you talked about Los Lobos. Explain for the record who are the Los Lobos?
They are an Ecuadorian cartel that works with sicariato and gun trafficking. They are associated with Albanian mob and Jalisco Nueva Generación.
Okay, now let's slow that down. When you say that they are they a criminal organization?
Yes, they are a cartel.
All right, now do they do all sorts of crimes within Ecuador?
Yeah, they handle most of crimes in Ecuador.
Okay, and is there any relationship between Los Lobos and the Albanian mafia that we discussed earlier? And if so, what is it?
They are business partners.
Okay, and then you also mentioned, I think, the Jalisco New Generation Cartel. Is that the one from Mexico?
Yeah, the one from Mexico.
What relationship, if any, is there between the Jalisco New Generation Cartel and Los Lobos and/or with the Albanian mafia in Ecuador?
They all were business partners, mostly in drug trafficking.
Okay. All right. So when did you get released from prison? Well, when you were released from prison, were released from prison number 4, or did you go to another prison first?
Okay, Leandro said I was in Latacunga. Then I was sent to number 4 in Quito. Then I was sent to Guaranda's jail, and I got free on Guayaquil's jail from section number 9.
Okay. And when were you finally freed from jail altogether?
5th of October of 2023.
Okay. Now, when you were freed from jail in October of 2023, did you still work for Leandro Norero? I mean, he was already passed away. So who did you work for? What did you do after that?
I was supposedly got to work with Lobos, but really when I got free, I just got away from everything. I knew my wife in that time, my girlfriend, and I started working with my dad in a house. He made it he was his house, and he made it a hotel because it's very big. So I was administrating it, and I just tried to not to get contact with them. I didn't want to talk to anybody.
Okay. Now let's kind of circle back with that background. Let's kind of circle back to Diana Salazar. Okay.
Okay.
Are you, and you've already said that she's corrupt. Why don't we talk about one of the first cases of interest, which is the case called Metastasis? Are you familiar with that case?
Yeah, of course I'm familiar with that case.
Okay, so tell us a little bit about what is the Metastasis case, what did it involve, and who are the people who, as far as you know, were truly guilty within Metastasis case, and then whether or not there were other people who were falsely implicated in the Metastasis case. Can you tell us about Metastasis? Just go very slowly, because I may have to stop you and do some follow-up questions, okay?
Okay, I'm gonna try to do it slowly. Metastasis case, it's the biggest case against political corruption on high spheres in Ecuador. And it all started when Leandro died, and they used his phones to make accusations with the conversations he had and everything. And they started making the case on December of 2023, and I was reading Primicias one day, and I saw that my name appeared in one article. They didn't talk much about me. They just talked that I was really close to him and that I got transferred with his brother to jail number 4. Then I started to get worried because, as I already told you, when I got free, I didn't want to know anything about anything. I just wanted a normal life. But I had a trouble. I knew I had to get to Fiscalia to sign once a month, but I didn't want to because I had too many threats of my life. So I was not going, and I knew someday they were gonna send a capture order for me. So one day, the 15th of March of 2024, I remember it because it was my birthday. I received a call from a friend I have in the police, and he told me they were looking for me, like Fiscalia and Diana Salazar and police. So I got scared because at the beginning I thought it was because of that order. So I packed my stuff and went with my wife to the border, and we were just about to cross. We were like 5 minutes away from Peru, and like 20 cops surrounded us and showed me an order from signed by Diana Salazar, telling that I had to go to Quito, but they said that they didn't have to handcuff me, and they have to treat me well. And they put me like in 2 or 3 planes to get to Quito. First we did Huaquilla, Santa Rosa, Guayaquil, Guayaquil, Quito, all in plane. And when I arrived to the airport, I was received by Captain Joel Rivas. Now he's a major, but in that time he was a captain. And he told me we were going.
Let me stop you
Okay.
there. So we're gonna put a little placeholder or stop when you meet then Captain Joel Rivas, now Major Joel Rivas at the airport. Let's stop there for a minute and roll back a little bit.
Okay.
So did the Metastasis case start as a result of Leandro Norero's death?
Yes.
Okay. There's been some talk about the famous telephones or the Leandro Norero telephones that were found in a jail cell or somewhere in the jail, either the day he died or sometime thereafter. What can you tell us about that?
Well, you see, when he died, I had to rescue his brother and sister because they were gonna get killed too. I happened to be with his brother. I was his personal bodyguard. I didn't went with him that day to maximum security because his brother was in the shower. So he told me to wait for him, and I wait for him. I stay over there. When he arrived to maximum security, he was murdered, and the second I figured that out, I took everybody in my section, including his brother, out of the jail to the exit filter, and then went to rescue his sister, and also they took her to the exit filter. There was this Coronel Alban, Carlos Alban Pazmiño is his full name.
How do you spell that? How do you spell that?
What?
Carlos Alban.
Carlos Pazmiño.
How do you spell Pasvillo?
Pacmi. There's this letter in Spanish that is an N with a had, ñ.
Right.
O.
Pazmiño.
Pazmiño. Yeah, Pazmiño.
Pazmiño.
With a
Pazmiño.
yes. Pazmiño. Carlos Alban Pazmiño.
Okay, Alban. Okay, Carlos Alban Pazmiño. Is it P-A-C, P-A-S, or P-A-Z?
PAC.
Okay, so let's stop there for just a minute. I want to stay with the phones yet, or are you getting there?
Yeah, I'm getting over there.
All right, keep
He
going.
was part of gear, like a special force from the police, and he told me he was gonna talk for me so I can get transferred to number 4 and not to Guayaquil, that is dangerous. And he wanted to know where the phones were, so I told him where were the phones, because I was the one that hid it when we found out Leandro was dead.
Where were Leandro Norero's phones located?
I put all the phones in jail number 2 pillows. There was like these special pillows with secret holes, and I explained him where he could find the phones. He finds Leandro's phones, he finds his brother's phones, he finds my phone and the other guy's phones. There were like 12 or 15, I don't remember, some number between 12 or 15.
So
Leandro had 4, Israel has 1, I had 1, Luis had 1, Panakibai had 1, and the Colombian, and yeah, it was like 11 phones.
okay, now, so if I understand you correctly, were all 11 phones found at the same jail?
Yes, in the same section, because we couldn't took the phones, so I told him to leave the phones over there and get away, to not get killed.
Okay.
So I gave them the phones so I can get transferred to a better jail. That's why I go to jail number 4.
Okay, did you give the phones to Pazmiño?
Yes. So when some days later, like 3 or 4 days after Leandro said, Capitan Rivas and Fiscal Ana Hidalgo, attorneys Ana Hidalgo, went to jail number 4 to talk to me in person and tell me that they wanted the phone's passwords. I had the first passwords, but they had like this security system that you needed like 3 passwords, and I only have the first one. They wanted me to give them the passwords. They used to take me out of jail like 2 or 3 times to state offices so they can talk to me over there.
Okay, let me slow you down here a little bit. So is it your belief that certain cell phones, maybe 11, were seized by Ecuadorian authorities that you gave them, and that in exchange for giving them the phones, you were now getting some consideration or favors from them? Is that what happened?
Yeah, that happened.
Okay. Now, do you believe that the phone, well, let me ask you this. So who took possession or custody of the phones, as far as you knew? Was it Rivas, was it Pazmiño, or was it Ana Hidalgo?
Diana Salazar was in custody of the phones, but at the beginning she didn't want to talk to me directly because I was an inmate. It was not legal that they take me out of jail.
Okay.
It was not legally possible, but they did it anyway.
Who was Ana Hidalgo at the time?
one of the attorneys of Fiscalía General.
So she was like an assistant to Diana Salazar?
Yeah, you could call her like her right hand with Wilson Toainga too. That is another attorney. It was like they were like the three principals.
All right, so let's get them straight. Wilson Toainga?
Toainga,
Toinga. Toinga?
Yes, correct.
Okay, and his first name is Wilson.
Yes, Wilson.
So would Salazar be at the top, and then Hidalgo next, and then Toainga third?
Oh, yes, Salazar, Toainga, Hidalgo.
Got
In
it.
that order.
And was
I was familiar with Toainga from this case, Huacho of 2018. That's why he felt comfortable talking with me.
okay. As far as you know, is Wilson Toainga, is he corrupt?
Yes, he worked for he never, it's funny because he's been like the second in general attorney's office, like for 3 or 4 periods. So he's very familiar with the system, but he never took leadership. He always left other people go in front of him. But it's on purpose.
But did you believe that he's corrupt?
Yes, he is. I
And
know
how-
he is. For certain, I know it.
You know for certain. How about Ana
Yes.
Hidalgo?
Ana Hidalgo, Toaingas, and Salazar, the three of them. When going up from time, when I got not captured, I don't know, like seized in the frontier and took to Quito, I got a meeting with Toainga and Salazar in the office, and he put in the phone to me with my uncle, and he told me like I was gonna be okay, that he gave me his word, everything was gonna be all right for me, that I just had to do what they are telling me to do. And if I can ask, if I wanted to ask for something, I could do it.
Okay, we're gonna get to that in a minute. I know because we were at the part where you were getting on the plane and traveling. But before we get there, did Toainga work for Leandro Norero?
No, you see, general attorneys doesn't talk with traffickers. They talk with politicians. Politicians talk with traffickers.
Okay, what corrupt politician, if any, did Toainga have a relationship with that was corrupt?
Guillermo Lasso, through Danilo Salazar, and through this guy, I don't remember his name, but his last name was Cheres. He got killed because he was gonna talk about them too. So they've been being corrupt and killing people systematically, like from a long time ago. It's very known they were like that. At least in the high spheres in Guayaquil, it's Vox Populi. Everybody knows it. But yes.
When you're talking about Cheres, is that Cherres?
Yes, correct. Cheres.
Now, is there another Cheres who was just found guilty, I guess, the last day or two in Ecuador of some type of crime? You know?
He was being accused of some things, but he was gonna, I don't know, tell about Lasso and Carrera. So he was found dead in his apartment in mysterious, I don't know how to say, circumstances.
Okay. What, if anything, do you know about Cheres' murder? The Cheres you just made reference to?
I don't know a lot. I just know it was made by Guillermo Lasso, because they told me that if somebody asked me about that, to throw away the questions, to not respond that, because you see, when the trial started, I had like very specific commands, and we were trained to. I was trained to get to know some facial gestures and hand gestures from Diana Salazar to avoid some questions. So I knew they were involved because they told me to throw that away if that I got a question.
What, if anything, do you know about the chain of custody that was involved with the 11 phones that were seized or that were delivered at the jail? What do you know about the chain of custody of those telephones?
Well, at the beginning, they wanted me to unlock the phones, but as I was telling you, I was not able to do that completely. And they say they sent it to United States to be in unlock. I don't know from which agency, but supposedly it was what happened.
Okay. Now you said that, let's go back now to where you were talking about when you
And
got in.
about the phones, I got to. They gave me my phone so I can sit down, so I can unlock my phone. They want to see some things in my phone, and they let me erase some things from my phone too.
Okay. Let's now go back to where we cut off a little bit there, and let's talk about when you got out of prison. Did you still have to report to Fiscalia? Like, were you on some kind of probation or something?
I had to go sign once a month,
Okay.
like
And then,
sometime some kind of conditional freedom, something like that.
okay. And did there come a point in time when you stopped doing that?
I didn't do that, not even once. I was afraid, so I never went.
Okay. And is that why you think that Diana Salazar signed some kind of an order for your arrest?
No, no, she knew that I was gonna get the order for my arrest, but it's not that fast. It took some time, so she used that to convince me to work with her.
Now, you said that in this relationship you established with Salazar, Hidalgo, and Toinga, that one or more of them had you pulled out of the jail so they could meet with you and talk to you secretly. And I think you said that that was illegal. Tell us a little more about that. How often would it happen? Where would they take you? Who was present and what was discussed?
It happens around 4 or 5 times between October and December, and they made false medical orders. So they told I was going to the hospital, but they took me to General Attorney's building, Fiscalía General del Estado's building, and I talked over there into Ainga's office and in Ana Hidalgo's office with Joel Rivas and Salazar, Captain Adrian Salazar, not Diana Salazar. Um, so they were gonna be keeping up with me, being seeing that nothing happens to me, so I could help them. When I couldn't unlock the phone, she told me that it was okay, that they were gonna help me with my freedom, and they were gonna contact me sometime when I got off. But I got off, and I got off in October. It happens like 5 months, and I didn't got any news from them. So, and I was happy. I didn't want to talk to them. And then this thing on March happened, and then I got forced to talk to them, and that's
Okay,
when
let's
metastasis
break it down.
starts.
Hold on. Let's break it down. There's a lot of things going on here. So when you got off probation, well, let me ask you this.
Yes.
While you were still in jail, before you were released, were you pulled out of the jail to give statements to any Ecuadorian officials?
Non-official statements, unofficial talks, unofficial meetings
Unofficial talk.
with.
Okay. About how many of these unofficial meetings did you have while you were still in jail when you were pulled out to talk at the Fiscalia? How many, more or less?
5 or 5.
Okay.
4 or 5, sorry.
Let's say 4 or 5 times. Okay. Would they always be in
Okay.
the same place?
Yes, in the same building always, yes. Sometimes in different office, but in the same building.
All right. And what were the duration of the meetings on the average? Was it more than an hour, less than an hour, more than 3 hours, more or less?
Between 1 hour and 2 hours.
Okay.
They were long meetings.
And who were the people that participated in one or more of those meetings? Give me that list.
Attorneys Ana Hidalgo, Attorney Wilson Toinga, Captain, now Major Joel Rivas, Captain Salazar, and they have like 2 or 3 bodyguards, but they were like low class police, like sergeants or like not officers, like from the troop. I don't know how to say that in English.
In any of those 4 to 5 meetings, was Salazar present?
No, the first time I got to meet her in person was on March 16,
Okay.
when she personally put Guillermo Lasso to the phone to me.
Okay. We're going to get to that again in a minute. In any of these 4 to 5 meetings, was Hidalgo present?
Yes, in all of them.
Okay, so it was Hidalgo, Toinga, Joel Rivas, and a Captain Salazar, and then some lower level policemen, correct?
No, I didn't hear you well. It was like
Yeah. All right. In these 4 to
blurry,
5
the sound.
meetings,
Can you
were
repeat the
these,
question, please?
yes. In these 4 to 5 meetings, were the following people there at one or more of the meetings? Toinga, Joel Rivas, Captain
Yes.
Salazar,
Yes.
and a Hidalgo.
Yes, and their bodyguards that were privates and sergeants from police.
Right. Okay. Now, when we were talking about Captain Salazar, was that a male or a female captain?
Male. His name is Adrian Salazar. Adrian in Spanish.
Okay, so I'm going to call him Adrian Salazar. Any relationship
Yes.
between Adrian Salazar and Maria Salazar? I mean, I'm sorry,
No,
Diana
no,
Salazar.
no. They just have the same last names, but they were not
Got it.
related.
Okay, now, what promises, if any, were you given in those meetings, and what were you asked to provide?
You are asking me from the meetings when I was still an inmate, or from the meetings when I
Yes.
was free?
No, let's keep it in order. So before you're released, what were the kind of things that they were talking to you about in jail, and did they make any promises to you?
They made my freedom process. It's called semi-abierto. It's like, I don't know, like conditional freedom. They put the lawyer, they made the papers, they talked to the judges, they talked to people in jail. So I didn't have the grades to get the benefit because I didn't got them. So they put false grades on me, and they put false reports, and that's why I could got released, because of them.
All right. Let's now go forward to where we broke up a while ago. When you make the decision, you're going to head for the border. You weren't comfortable with what was happening. You weren't feeling safe. And you went to the border, and then you get detained by the 20 or so officers. Okay, let's go back to that point in time. I think you said that was around March 15th of 2024.
Yeah, correct. I start going to the border on March 15, and I got caught by the officers on 16.
Okay. Who were you with on March 16th besides yourself? Did you have your family, your wife, your fiance, anybody else?
Just my wife and me, and our
Okay.
pet.
And your cat.
Yes.
Right. Okay. And then you said that you were detained by about 20 police officers. That was Ecuadorian police officers.
Yes, Ecuadorian.
And was that on the border with Peru?
Yeah, in the city of Huaquillas.
Okay. Had you already crossed into Peru, or were you still in Ecuador?
I was still in Ecuador. If I was
Okay.
if I got to cross to Peru, they couldn't do anything, but they got just in time.
Okay. And I think you said that when they detained you, they told you that the detention was the result of an order from Diana Salazar, but she told them, don't put handcuffs on him, just treat him nice, and then we're going to talk. Is that right?
Yes, you see, in Spanish, the order says order of traslado, inmovilización, y pues está a la orden de la autoridad competente. Movement, immobilization, and getting to the order of General Attorney's Office. But it was not a prison order by itself. It was really weird. It was not normal.
Okay, so let me kind of put it in a little bit of context. So I'm gonna define what you just said as what we would call a pickup order, as opposed to an arrest warrant. Is that a fair description of what you're trying to say?
Yes, because it was not like for prison. It was because she wanted me in her office.
Okay. And did you tell the officers that it was your intention to cross the border and go into Peru?
I told them I didn't want to collaborate with them, but then I got threatened, and they told me that if I didn't get the command to go over there. They were gonna get a prison order, and they were gonna send me to Guayaquil to Novo section. So
Okay.
I got killed over there.
So let me make sure that this is clear in the record. So did you initially tell the police officers that detained you that you really didn't want to go back and talk to Diana Salazar? Is that correct?
Yeah, I told them I didn't want to go over there.
And did they tell you that if you didn't do that, the only option was you were going to go back into a jail in Ecuador where you knew or you feared that if you went there, you were going to get killed?
They told me in these words, we are gonna send you to Lobo section, and then you are gonna get killed. So you better do what we are telling you. In those
Okay.
words, literally.
Now, when you say the Lobo section, was there a section within one or more of the Ecuadorian jails where they housed members of the Lobos organization?
Yes, like in all the prisons has their group of command. So they have La Tacunga, Cuenca, section 9, 8, and 7 in Guayaquil, Loja. They have a lot of sections. But Guayaquil
Okay.
is the worst.
Now,
It's like hell in earth.
hell on earth. Okay. Now, March 16th, was that the day that you were on the phone with Guillermo Lasso and he asked you to speak to Diana Salazar?
Yeah, he talked with my dad too, and he told my dad to talk to me. He talked to me on Diana Salazar's phone, and he talked to my dad on his phone. That's why I don't have a good relation with my dad, because he works with corruption too, and he has used me several times. So I don't consider him, he's my dad in blood, but I don't like him. I don't talk to him.
Did you speak on that day yourself over the phone to Diana Salazar?
I talked to her personally. She passed the phone to me with Guillermo's call.
Okay, so were her and Guillermo together on the same phone, or was it a three-way conversation?
No, on the same phone. He called her, and she passed the phone to me.
Okay. All right. So what did she tell you, if anything, in that call?
That I had to do what they were telling me to do. That he gave me his word that I was gonna keep alive. If I could ask I wanted to ask some things. I could do it in the limits of the rational. So I
So
asked for money, and I asked to get out of the country.
okay, so your demand or your ask in order to comply with the pickup order that came from the police, that came from your dad and Diana Salazar, was that A, you wanted money, and ultimately B, you wanted them to give you safe passage out of the country?
Yes, I wanted them to take me out to Peru when all of that has finished, and they did. They gave me the money, and they took me to Peru.
Okay, and let's talk about what happened in between. So did you then voluntarily, when I say voluntarily, quote unquote, did you go back to Quito?
Yeah. After that, I was sent to a safe house in a high class neighborhood in Quito, an apartment next to Megamaxi, that is like a mall in the 6th of December. It's an avenue. And I was in custody, not in custody. I was like with 8 bodyguards from the police. So I was locked up in one room with my cat and my wife. They sent me food and all the things I needed. Um, they buy me they buy me medicines, and they took care of me
Okay,
until the 28th of March, and they took me to the statement. And when
okay.
the statement finished, they took me to Peru.
All right, so let's make sure we get this straight. I want to focus now on what happens between 3/16 of 24 and 3/28 of 24, because you broke up a little bit. So let me see if I can fill in the blanks if I understood you correctly. During that period of time, you went back to Quito, but you stayed in a safe house. You weren't really arrested. You were sort of like under guard or protection. And that would have been for a period of about 12 days or so.
Yes, correct.
All right.
Between those days, I got visit from Major Rivas, and they took me a couple of times to talk with Diana Salazar and Wilson Toainga, um, to get to know the speech to study.
Okay. Now you talked about they wanted you to know the speech and the study. Let's take that apart because that's very important. So let me ask you the question this way. Was Diana Salazar, when you're talking about to learn the speech and the study, was Diana Salazar asking you or pressuring you to give false testimony to falsely implicate innocent people in the Metastasis case?
Correct.
Okay, now, who else besides Salazar was present when she was making that pitch to you, when she was putting that pressure on you? Who else participated in that with her, to your knowledge?
Major Rivas, Attorney Wilson Toainga, her secretary Rocio Galarza, in 2 of the 3 meetings, Ana Hidalgo Guayaquil, also attorney.
Okay, let's break that down. Galarza, okay, so we know Salazar was there, Diana Salazar.
Yes.
Major Rivas, or maybe was he a captain at the time?
He was captain at the time, yes.
Still captain. Then you mentioned a Galarza. Is that Galarza?
Yes, she was her secretary.
What's the first name, Galarza's?
Rocio.
Rocio Galarza. And she was the secretary to Salazar?
Yes.
Okay, and then there was a 4th name I didn't catch. What was it?
Ana Hidalgo, also attorney.
Ana Hidalgo, we talked about earlier, who was the 3rd in command of the Attorney General's office?
Correct.
All right. So is it fair to say that all of those individuals pressured you in some way, shape, or form to bear false testimony on innocent people to implicate them in the Metastasis case?
Yes, that's right.
All right, now before we go into those details, let me go back a little bit. Can you give me a better understanding as to what was said in the phone call between when Salazar gave the phone to your father and you spoke with your dad? Can you give us, what was the summary of what that discussion was all about?
No, I think you got a little mixed up. Salazar passed me the phone, and I talked with my uncle. My uncle told me everything was going to be all right, and he told me that if I got any doubts, I could call my dad. And he promised me that nothing was going to happen to me, and that everything was going to be okay. Then I hung up with him, and I called my dad, and my dad told me to do as they say, because I asked my dad to go to human rights or some organization that could help me, and he refuses. He told me that I had to do what they told me to do, that he was not going to help me.
All right, so if I got it right now, I think I do. When you're with the 20 police officers at the border, the call comes in from Diana Salazar. She puts Lasso on the phone to talk to you.
No. The police officers took me to the airport to start taking the planes. When I arrived to Quito, Captain Rivas picked me up on his on a pickup, on a camioneta.
Yep.
And they took my wife in one car, and they took me in another car. And he told me that I had to be prepared, because I was gonna get a meet with Diana Salazar, not to be rude. Malcriado is the word in Spanish, spoiled, not to be spoiled, and listens. And when I arrived to the General Attorney office in Quito, then she called Guillermo and put him on the phone, face to face. When I got to meet her face to face.
You meet her face to face, and she gets Lasso on the phone with you, and then Lasso says, "Listen to your father. He's going to talk you into this. Follow his advice." And then you speak to your dad. You tell your dad, "I really don't want to go down that road. I'd rather go to some kind of United Nations or World Organization. I don't want to do this." And your father convinced you that it was better to do as he was telling you, as Lasso was telling him, and as Salazar was telling Lasso, correct?
Correct.
Got it. Okay. Did Lasso at any point in time tell you to lie? Did he know what was going on in terms of the false testimony in the Metastasis case?
Told me that they were going after me because it was everybody knows that I got a good relationship with Norero. So he wanted me to not to talk about his people. That he said that to me, like in his words, not to talk about me or my people. They're gonna give you certain names. You do as they say, and you talk what they do, what they say you to say.
Okay, so let me see if I got it right. And that was Lasso telling you that?
Yes.
So Lasso was telling you that they were going to ask you about people who were involved in the Metastasis case, and that he wanted you to not tell truthfully who really was involved in the case, but rather take those names out and insert innocent names that Salazar was going to give you. Is that correct?
Yes. For the record, he was no longer president at that time.
Okay, that's good to know as well. What do you think Lasso's interest was at the time if he was no longer the president to do that? Was he fearing his own safety, or was he just still corrupt, or what?
Own safety, and in Ecuador, social classes are very divided. So you are good seen if you are born with a good last name and you have like your heritage. Your fortune is a heritage, but if you are a working man and you make money, but you don't have like good social sociedad or good a good last name, you are like discriminated. People don't like that. In high class, they don't like that. They don't accept new riches. They don't like them.
So was Lasso, he had previously been the president, was Lasso considered to be in a high social stratus or a low social stratus?
High social status. He was because he was owner of Banco Guayaquil. He's owner of in part of Balandra, that is one of the, if not the most expensive school in Guayaquil, with the best families, socially talking.
All right, let's now talk about these meetings that took place. Again, we're going back to March 16th of 28 until March 28th of, I'm sorry, March 16th of 24 to March 28th of 24. About how many times did you meet in person with Salazar? How many meetings in total did you have?
I have 4 meetings with her in total between March 16 and March 28.
And were Hidalgo and Adrian Salazar and Toinga and Rivas involved in all of those meetings? Was it always the same individuals, or sometimes were some there but not others?
Toinga was in all meetings, and Hidalgo was in 2, and Rivas and Salazar, Captain Salazar, were in all of them.
When I say running the show, what I mean by running the show, who was leading the band? Who was in charge? Did it appear to you that it's between all these people that Salazar was the one who was running the show and leading the band?
Yeah, Salazar did. Diana Salazar.
Now, give me the list of the names of the people, and then we'll take a break and come back and start going through every one of them. But give me the names of the people that Salazar was feeding you that she wanted you to falsely implicate in the Metastasis case.
She wanted a former congressman or asambleísta in Spanish, Ronnie Eleada. He wanted Javier Jordan. She wanted Rafael Correa, former president. She wanted Jorge Glass, former vice president. And she wanted Jose Serrano, former security minister.
Okay, so that's 5 people.
Yes.
And so the court reporter gets the spellings correct. One was Ronnie. Is that Ronnie?
Onny.
Ronny. Aliaga
Yes.
is Aleaga, right?
Yeah, correct.
And he was a former congressperson?
Yes.
And then
Asamblea, we call that in Ecuador.
Yeah, the Asamblea, ASEMBLE, but that the Asamblea is the legislature or the Congress.
Yeah, it's the same as the Congress in US. They're equal.
And then we have Rafael Correa, who at the time was a former president.
Yeah, former president.
And then Glass, what was Glass's first name?
Jorge.
Jorge, and is that Glass Glas?
Yeah, like glass, like this. Like glass.
Yes. Now he was previously a vice president in Ecuador.
Yes.
Was he the vice president to Correa when Correa was president?
Correct.
All right, so they were part of the same political party?
Yes, they were part of the same political party.
And Jose Serrano had previously been involved in high positions of the Ecuadorian government as well?
Yeah, when Rafael Correa was president, they at least Aliaga, Correa, Glass, and Serrano were part of the same political figure. Jordan was more because he was empresario. I forgot the word in English. I don't wanna.
Businessman?
Yeah,
Businessman?
businessman. Yeah.
Okay.
He was not political affiliation that I know.
Now, let's talk about Serrano for just a minute. Was Serrano ever truly involved or guilty or participated in or a part of what we now call the Metastasis case?
I never got information about Serrano that was true. All that I talk about Serrano is because they tell me to talk about him.
Right, but let me break this down. I know that you said that Salazar asked you to falsely implicate Jose Serrano, but did you know the people who were really involved in Metastasis? And was Serrano in the real world, in reality, was he really involved in Metastasis, or did Diana Salazar ask you to falsely implicate Jose Serrano in Metastasis?
He asked me to falsely implicate him.
Okay. Did Ms. Salazar also ask you to falsely implicate Javier Jordan in Metastasis?
Yes.
Okay. How about, as far as you know, was Jorge Glass also involved in Metastasis, or did she just ask you to falsely implicate Glass as well?
She also asked me to falsely implicate him.
How about Rafael Correa? Was he involved in Metastasis, or did she ask you to merely falsely implicate him in Metastasis?
She also asked me to falsely implicate him in Metastasis.
And how about Ronnie Aliaga? Did Salazar ask you to falsely implicate Ronnie Aliaga in Metastasis?
Yeah, she also asked me to falsely implicate him.
And we're going to get to the Villavicencio in a minute, but since I have the thought in my mind, I don't want to forget the question. Were you also ever asked by anybody, and tell me who, to falsely implicate Jose Serrano and Javier Jordan in the assassination of Fernando Villavicencio?
Yes, Ana Hidalgo and Wilson Toinga asked me to falsely implicate them. In that time, Diana Salazar was no longer general attorney.
So that request to falsely implicate Serrano and Jordan in the Fernando Villavicencio case, that came under the authority, we'll say, of Attorney General Ana Hidalgo?
Yes, that happens when Wilson Toinga was in charge of Fiscalia, but he was like provisionalmente, like temporarily in charge.
All right, that's perfect. Let's take about a 10-minute break. We're going to come back. Let me see, the time is now 2:25. What do we come back at 2:35 so we can all have a comfort break, get some coffee, whatever, and then we'll go into the next chapter or so. Okay?
Okay, I'm going to charge the phone a little bit. I'm getting out of battery.
All right.
Okay.
Off record at 2:25 p.m. The time is 2:43 p.m. We're now back on the record.
Okay, Mr. Lasso, thank you for the break and coming back. We're going to continue from where we finished, or when we stopped, I should say, for the break. Staying on the Metastasis case, let me just make sure that I understand this correctly. So from March 16th of 2024 until March 28th of 2024, you were in a safe house and you were having about 4 to 5 meetings with, maybe not every day with the same persons, but all of the people who attended those meetings included Toinga, Captain Rivas, Captain Salazar, Diana Salazar, and Ana Hidalgo. Did I get that right?
Yes, correct.
Now, and they were giving you, if I understand it, they were giving you things like comfort, money, medical help, medical assistance, medications, and they were meeting your basic needs for you to be able to stay there for that period of time in the safe house. Is that right?
Correct.
And then The purpose of the meetings, from what you've described, was for them to train you and teach you and coach you to falsely implicate the following individuals in the metastasis case: Rani Aliaga, Rafael Correa, Jorge Glass, Jose Serrano, and Javier Jordan. Am I right?
Right.
Okay. And they would give you details, locations, perhaps dates, and they were giving you information so that you could then repeat that or parrot that to Diana Salazar later on in a formal sworn statement that could be used to prosecute these individuals. Is that also correct?
Yes, that's correct. They also trained me to get some physical gestures from Diana Salazar on the hearing, so I know what questions should I ask and should I answer. Or yes, should I answer? It's correct, right? That's a correct word. And what questions should I avoid?
Okay. All right. And so after those sessions, well, let's stay with those sessions a little bit. Would you call those sessions like dress rehearsals? Like if you're going to put on a play, you're going to do something that's not real. It's like a movie or a performance, and you're preparing and preparing and preparing so that ultimately, when you have to do the performance, your false performance would appear to be truthful?
Right.
Okay. Now, after those performances, after March 28th, where did you go and when approximately did you go to give your, I'm going to call it your official Fiscalia version to Diana Salazar? How did that happen?
Sorry, I didn't get the question.
Yes.
Could you repeat it?
After March 28th, did you then go to the Fiscalia formally, okay, officially, to give quote unquote truthful testimony against these 5 individuals so they could be charged in the metastasis case?
Correct.
Do you remember what day that happened? What, did it all happen in one day? Were there multiple days? Tell me about that.
Well, the sworn statement was just one day, but it lasts about 4 hours
Okay. And where did it take place?
in the National Court building.
Who was present?
Daniel Noboa was the president.
Who?
Daniel Noboa was the president.
No, he was the president, but who was present for the meeting?
Ah, okay. All the lawyers from more than 20 implicates. They made me say some things true and some things false. But regarding those 5 people you asked me, it was all false information. Nothing true
Okay.
about them.
And who was representing the government of Ecuador running the questions in that hearing?
General Attorney Diana Salazar. That's why I was telling you, even if you see the recording of the hearing, the lawyers complain because they notice that, like, when I asked something uncomfortable, that she was making gestures to me with the face or with the hands.
Was this a virtual meeting or was it a in-person meeting?
No, it was an in-person meeting. I was sitting in front of everybody in the middle of the court.
So was during the session, I'm going to call it the session, did Diana Salazar use certain hand signals and gestures to help you with some of your answers?
Correct. It's in the record. Some lawyers complain about it.
Right. So let me ask you this. Did this interview, we'll call it the sworn statement, were you providing some information about metastasis that was true and other information about it that was false?
Correct.
And was all of the false information that you provided, well, let me ask it differently. Was all the information you provided about Aliaga, Correa, Glass, Serrano, and Jordan, was all of that information false?
Yeah, regarding those 5 individuals, it was all false.
Now, what did Diana Salazar and her group of people offer you if you did this? If you performed and you performed well and they were satisfied, what was in it for you?
They had to took me to Peru with security. they had to be sure that I got in one piece to Peru, and they had to give me at the beginning it was $5,000 that I asked, but they told me they could only give me $4,000. That's what they gave me, and they left me in Peru. But they didn't do it like legally. They have to, if they wanted to do this legally, what they did, they had to talk with Cancillería Ecuador, and Cancillería Ecuador had consular in Ecuador, and consular in Ecuador had to talk with consular in Peru, but they didn't clandestinamente, not legally.
Clandestine? Secretly?
Yes, secretly.
Now, when you say Cancilleria, that's Cancilleria, is that the equivalent of a chancellor's office?
Yeah, it's the office in charge of international affairs.
Okay. Now, ultimately, how much money in total were you paid?
In Metastasis, $4,000.
Okay. Now, who paid you the money?
Captain Joel Rivas gave me the money in an office downstairs in the same building when the hearing was taking course, but downstairs in an office it was like a very small closed office. I was with my wife. They made me sign classified paper.
Like a receipt?
Yeah, but it says like classified in the paper. With the
It
red
was a
stamp.
classified document. Okay. Did they give you a copy
Yes.
of that or no?
No.
Okay.
In
It's
the documents, it said that if I talked about it, I could be charged with treason, como traición a la patria, como I don't know how to say the treason in English. I suppose. Yes.
Okay. Now, did Diana Salazar know about these payments or the payment?
Yeah, the first meeting we had, I asked that to her personally. I said $5,000. She said to me that she was gonna look about it, and she would send me the answer with Joel Rivas. Joel Rivas went to see me daily in the safe house. So he was like the messenger.
All right, so Rivas would be a messenger and see you daily at the safe house between the 2 dates that we described in March.
Yes, she told me that I get to talk to her about money once, and the other meetings I shouldn't talked about money because they were being recorded.
Do you remember the names of any of the people who you truthfully implicated in the Metastasis case?
Yes.
As part of the investigation.
General Pablo Ramirez of police.
Slow down. Slow down. Number one, General who?
Pablo Ramirez.
Pablo Ramirez. Okay, who else?
Colombian Claudia Garzon, who was president of the Pacifications Commission for jails. Okay.
Who else?
And Daniel Salcedo.
And Daniel Salcedo.
Also lawyers Cristian Romero and Lenin Vimos and Kevin Prendes. All of them lawyers.
Okay, so all of those lawyers who you just mentioned, were they all criminals in addition to being attorneys?
Yes.
Were they all a part of the Metastasis case?
Yes.
Did you provide information to them? I'm sorry, did you provide information about them that was truthful in terms of their criminal involvement?
We got the meeting so they hear my side of the story and we can mix it up with their side of the story. So it was a mix up between lies and truths. Okay. So it could be more reliable.
What can you tell us about Lenin Vimos?
Lenin Vimos, Kevin Prendes, and Cristian Romero, they work as lawyers for Leandro Norero. They took messages from one criminal band to another, to one politician to another. Basically, they were messengers of illegal content that they couldn't talk or didn't want to talk directly.
Okay. All right, now let's,
Mr. Diaz, can I have those three names again? I apologize.
yeah,
There were two
let's go
questions.
through those three names again. Lenin is Lenin, Vimos is Vimos, is that right?
Yeah, B as Victor.
V as in Victor, Vimos. And then Christian Romero, is that Romero?
Yes.
Christian is with a C and an H or KR?
Christian is CH.
Okay. And the third one was who?
Lenin Vimo, Kevin Prendes. Kevin, that's easy, and Prendes is Prendes.
All three lawyers, all three corrupt. Am I correct?
Yeah. Also I talk about these judges. I forgot his last name. Curipayo. They were the links between Curipayo and Norero. Curipayo was the one that set free two of Norero's associates.
Culpayo is Culpayo?
No, Curipayo. It's an indigenous, an Aboriginal last name, Curipayo.
Oh, Curipayo.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Now that we got that straight, let's now switch gears to by the way, at the end of the day, did Diana Salazar meet her promise when she told you she was going to get you safely into Peru?
Yes, they crossed me for an illegal pass, Pura, and they left me there with my cat and my wife.
But did they do anything with the Peruvian immigration authorities to get you legal immigration status in Peru?
No. They passed me down the way. No legal pass.
Were they supposed to give you legal passage and legal immigration status?
Correct. I didn't have an immigration status. Correct.
Okay.
I was an illegal in Peru.
Right.
As I happen to be in all countries that I've been since that day.
Okay. Let's now switch gears from metastasis and let's talk about Fernando Villavicencio, okay? Were you asked by anybody, including Diana Salazar or Ana Hidalgo, to falsely implicate people in the assassination of Fernando Villavicencio?
Yes, but in Fernando Villavicencio's case, I meet with Toainga and with Ana Hidalgo. Diana Salazar was no longer part of General Attorney's office, but she sent information. She sent names because she's in constant contact with the government, and it's in the interest of this actual government to keep away these people or to lock these people out for political reasons. Talking about those 5 individuals you already asked me a couple of times.
Right. So let me see if I kind of understand this, more importantly for the reader of the deposition. So the current government, which is Noboa and his cronies, such as Diana Salazar and Rivas and Hidalgo, those people who are loyal,
and the others, yes.
Yeah, Tuinga and others. There's that group or faction, and then there's the other group, which is Serrano, Jordan, Aliaga, Glass, and Correa are, let's just call it a different group. Is it your understanding that these false implications of these 5 individuals in the metastasis case, and now we're going to talk about the ones that they ask you to falsely implicate in the Villavicencio case, is a politically motivated falsification of witness testimony in order to, number one, keep that power in place in Ecuador, and then number 2, to prevent people like Serrano and Jordan and other people to have a clean, non-corrupt government in place in Ecuador. Is that your general understanding of everything that we've been talking about in this deposition?
Correct.
Okay. All right. So Villavicencio, do you know? Well, first of all, let me do it the opposite way. To your knowledge, did Jose Serrano have anything to do with the murder of Fernando Villavicencio? Either the brains behind it, the mastermind, or the actual person or people who did it, or maybe financing it, funding it, or being involved in it in any way, shape, or form?
No, he's not involved in any way. You see, as I told you before, I was sent to Section 9 in Guayaquil's jail, and when I got over there, they gave me a special section next to mine that was called Logros. And I was like the boss of that section. So I had to be in every meetings of the planning office morning. That not implicated, I have nothing to do with planning or organizing. I was just hearing because I had to be there. It was like a compromise. Um, and I never heard his name. He was never mentioned. The people that I heard was Guillermo Lasso and Novoa's people, and they don't get along with Serrano at all. So for general understanding, he doesn't have anything to do. Not Serrano, not Jordan, not Glass, not Correa, not Aliaga. The only one that I talked about that was actually involved too was Daniel Salcedo, because Daniel Salcedo talks with Lasso's crew and Novoa's crew when people inside couldn't do it or these politicians didn't want to talk directly. He was like the link, Daniel Salcedo.
What when you talk about the link, tell us a little bit more. What participation or link did Salcedo have with the Villavicencio murder?
Salcedo is a specialist in government contract. You see, for overprices and corruption and all of those things that implies government's money to make things. So as that was before Norero's work, and when he died, Salcedo heredó that role. So he was like a known face for everybody. He could talk with criminals and he could talk with politicians.
So would you say that Salcedo is a pivotal person that has a pivotal role between the government, political corruption in Ecuador, and the enterprises, the criminal enterprises that we've been discussing so far in this deposition?
Yes, he also called me that when I gave the first free version on Villavicencio, and he told me that the only reason he didn't talk the truth to take down my declaration is because he was ordered not to. But that I have to be very clear that he doesn't like me and we are not in the same team. We were just joined by the circumstances. He doesn't like me at all. It's mutual. I don't like him either.
Do you know who was involved in the contracting and the conspiracy to assassinate Fernando Villavicencio?
Lasso and Carrera and Lenin Moreno got a meeting with Salcedo via telematic and asked him to talk with Pipo Chavarria and Esteban Aguilar to get the contract. That's what they call it, contract. When you're going to hit somebody, you get the contract.
Let's break those names down for the court reporter. You talked about Chavarria. Is that Chevarria?
Yes, Wilmer Chavarria, alias Pipo, yes.
And the first name is Wilmer. Is he a criminal, a lawyer, or both, or what?
He's a criminal. He's boss of Lobos.
He's the boss of Los Lobos. Okay.
Yes.
And then you said Lasso. Which Lasso are we talking about?
Guillermo Lasso.
Guillermo Lasso. Okay. And so Guillermo Lasso, Chavarria, Wilmer Chavarria, the head of Lobos, and who else were involved in the Villavicencio murder?
Also, Lenin Moreno, former president. You see, the arrangement was this. Lenin Moreno wanted Novoa to win because it was in his political party. Novoa's promises were that he wasn't gonna prosecute either Lenin Moreno, Lasso, or Carrera. So Lasso and Carrera put money into his campaign too. They made a pact.
Okay, so the Carrera that you're talking about is the Carrera we mentioned earlier, correct? Carrera.
Carrera, yes, Danilo Carrera.
All right, so Danilo Carrera, Noboa, and who are the other two?
Danilo Carrera, Noboa, Guillermo Lasso, y Lenin Moreno.
Okay, what's Moreno's first name again?
Lenin, like Russian, like, yes.
Okay, that's different than Lenin Vimos, correct?
Yeah, they're different people. One is a lawyer, the other one is former president.
Okay, so those four individuals that we've now identified, as far as you know, were the ones, we call them the masterminds behind the assassination of Villavicencio. Is that correct?
Masterminds and financial support, money.
Financial support. And then my understanding is that the actual sicarios, SICARIOS, which means the hitmen, there were about 6 of them. They were all captured and ultimately they were all killed in jail. Is that right?
Correct. In the version I gave, they told me to talk about Oliver Sinistera Front, that is a guerrillas group, but actually they talk with Envigado's office, that is another criminal group.
The Envigado office, that's ENVIGADO, that's the one out of the Medellin area in Colombia?
Yes, correct.
Okay.
You see,
Now,
all criminal organizations in South America, they have partners like enterprises. So Lobos get along in Colombia with Envigado, in Peru with Los Pulpos, in Brazil with PSC, Primer Comando Capital. They were like associated, so they can act in all the territories.
got it. So what false testimony, if any, did you provide to the Ecuadorian Fiscalia with regards to Villavicencio? What did it, and who asked you to provide the false testimony?
I was first contacted by Major Rivas, and he told me that I was going to get contact by Captain Salazar. He made his first travel to Bolivia on 25th of September of 2025. But before that, he starts talking to me at the end of July of 2025, so I could be getting prepared. And in those conversations, that it happens that I have them in my cell phone, and we were getting along of how much money I was gonna get paid, and I asked him that I want to get out of Bolivia because I didn't feel safe over there because it's a very dangerous, corrupt country. So he told me that maybe they could get me a refugee status in some country next to Bolivia. They were gonna pay me $4,000 again.
Did you ever get that money?
Yeah, I get the money. I didn't get the refugee status in any country, but the money I got it.
And who gave it to you?
Captain Salazar, in front of Diana Arancibia, that is secretary of the consul in Santa Cruz de la Sierra, Bolivia.
That name is Arancebia. Did I get that right?
Diana, yes. Dayana.
Diana is Dayana and Arancibia is Arancibia.
Yes, correct.
All right. And so did you in fact provide any false testimony against anybody to the Fiscalia on the Villavicencio case?
Yes.
Who asked you to do that?
Ana Hidalgo, Wilson Tainga, Major Rivas, and Captain Salazar.
Okay. All right. And did you get any other payments besides the 2 payments we've already discussed from them? From anybody in the Ecuadorian government?
No, just those 2 payments.
Okay, so you never got your legalized status in Peru. You never got legalized status in Bolivia. They never met their promise to give you legalized status anywhere. Is that correct?
Yeah, the breaking point for me was that my wife got pregnant on September, so I sent her to Argentina because her sister is living there, and my mother-in-law lives over there too. So I didn't want her to be exposed. So I sent her over there, and then I got the decorations, I got the money, and when I asked them to talk with Diana Salazar, that was now Ecuadorian's ambassador in Argentina, they never answered me. I tried to contact Diana Salazar a lot of times. I have the emails addressed to her official embassy email account. I sent several emails to Ana Hidalgo, and around the first days of November, I got an atentado. I don't know, an attempt of murder in my house. I was fixing the TV antenna on the roof, So I hid behind the chimney, and I heard those two men talking on the phone with Adrian Salazar. They were Ecuadorian police. They were reporting that I was no longer in the house, that they already had been going around, because at first I lived in Santa Cruz de la Sierra, but when all this Villavicencio began, I moved to a little town called Samaipata in the mountains. So they had already gone to Santa Cruz, and I was not in Samaipata area, so maybe I was already out of the country, and that they couldn't hit me. In Spanish, that they no pudieron concretar el golpe. That's what they say to him, literally. So they were over there to kill me. That's why I ran away to Argentina and tried to contact the American government.
Okay, now let me go back and ask a couple of questions about the Adrian Salazar and the trips to Bolivia. About how many times did Adrian Salazar go to meet you in Bolivia?
Twice.
Okay, who else went with him?
First, he went with a bodyguard, with a private of police, a very young one, like 25 years old maybe. And the second time he went alone.
You know the dates and when he went to see you, Adrian Salazar in Bolivia?
Yes, 25 of September of 2025 and 31 of October of 2025. He entered to Biru International Airport in Santa Cruz de la Sierra.
How do you spell that?
B as Victor, I-R-U, Biru. Twice, Biru International Airport.
Okay. So did you feel legitimately in fear for your life based on the things that you had said and either the suspicions or the knowledge that Salazar and her cronies might have felt or had or perceived about you possibly turning against them? Is that why you think your life is in danger?
I made a mistake. I got mad with them, and I told them 2 days before the hit attempt that if they didn't help me, I was gonna talk to American government and say all the truth, that they made me lie. Maybe that was my mistake.
So, yeah, right. So, and just so that I'm clear and the record is clear, your current concern for your own safety and your wife and your cats is because you actually told Salazar and her people, we're going to talk a little bit more about that in a moment, but you let them know that you no longer felt comfortable with the situation and you were going to speak with American authorities. Is that correct?
Right.
Now, who did you voice that to? Who did you say that to?
I said that to Captain Adrian Salazar, and he tried to erase the conversation he had with me in WhatsApp, but he couldn't do it completely because he put like temporary message and then to erase each 24 hours, but he doesn't know much of computers, so I have a security backup from everything. He could only erase the part that I threatened him because he got scared. But you can see the conversation. It says, Adrian, Capitan Salazar activated a temporary message, and then he activated them. But he could only erase message from one day, not from the whole conversation.
So let me talk to you about that, because I know you said earlier that you have a pretty good handle on devices, electronics, messaging, and things like that. We've talked a lot today, and we appreciate your time here. We've talked a lot today about government corruption, Diana Salazar, Hidalgo, and others. But some people might say, you know what, that's just testimony. He can't back it up. He doesn't have any proof. He's got no phones, no devices, no messages. What besides what you've told us do you have that would bring some corroboration to everything that we've been talking about here today?
All the conversations with Captain Salazar from 30th of July until this day, except for the message when I said to him I was going to talk to the American government, but he only could erase 2 or 3 messages. Then it's the complete conversations. I have all the emails that I sent to Ana Hidalgo and Diana Salazar asking for the help. And at the beginning, I wasn't sure. I wanted to prove them. So I told them about the problem I have with the hit attempt. and they never answered back. So as we say in Spanish, el que calla otorga, pues no. Also, I heard the cops talking, so I have all the backups, all the conversations from July until this day, and I have the emails. And in the message, we talk about the money, and we talk about Argentina refugees, and we talk about my wife's security. My wife went to see her in embassy in Argentina to talk to confront her for the hit attempt, and she didn't went out. She hid in her office.
Okay, so is there any question in your mind that there was a hit, as you called it, a hit attempt on your life, which put you in the situation that you're in today and your decision to reach out to American authorities to try to help you and save your life?
Yes.
And your wife, did your wife just show up at the embassy, or did you or her in advance ask Diana Salazar to meet her there to discuss the situation?
No, she went. She was mad. She went with her mom, and she told to the secretary that she knew that they were the ones that tried to kill me because I heard them. She wanted answers, and the secretary told her to leave her phone number, and that she would call her later. I never did. And of course, she didn't leave any address or anything, but she went over there to confront her, and she didn't show up.
Okay. Are you familiar with an Ecuadorian news reporter or somebody in the media called Boscan, Boscan?
Yeah, I get along with him.
Okay. And have you spoken to him about this situation at all, or some of the things that we've been talking about today?
I told him about the hit attempt, but I didn't. I mentioned him Salazar, but I told him not to talk about it until I've been secured by the American government. And well, I don't know with other people what. With me, I've known him for several years, and he always kept his word. With me, he's been a gentleman. I cannot say anything bad about him.
Okay. So yes, you have a good relationship with him. You think he's a straight shooter?
Yes.
Okay. All right. And we didn't mention this name before, but before I got a couple more things I want to talk about, and then we'll finish. I want you to tell us a little about the Bucaram, Bucaram family in that group. What can you tell us about the Bucarams and their involvement, if any, in crimes and or in political corruptions in Ecuador?
Well, they are involved in Efrain Ruales' murder. That is a reporter that was Efrain Ruales.
Ruales?
Yes, Efrain as Efrain in English, and Ruales as you spell it. Yes.
Okay, go ahead. What else can you tell us about them?
They kept Salcedo's money away from the authorities. They are known for being, gangsters and politicians. They are also involved in fraudulent prices of medical stuff for COVID. And also, they tried to kill a friend of mine called Oren Sheyman, who is an Israeli citizen living in Ecuador. They got him threatened that he cannot say anything more about them, or they're gonna kill him last. They killed Tom, his friend. I don't remember his Tom's last name, but he is Israeli too. He was killed in prison by Bucharest order. And they also protect Salcedo. They are Salcedo's, I don't know, blindaje. We say ellos lo tienen blindado a Salcedo. I don't know how to translate that. They protect him. Yeah, they protect him.
Okay.
Yes.
How about, are you familiar with the name of Juan Pablo Jaramillo?
Yeah, Colombian citizen.
Yes. What do you know about him?
He was Norero's driver, and he also was driver for Salcedo. That's why they told me to talk about him in the sworn statement, because it can connect Salcedo with Norero and Salcedo with the other false testimony I gave about the 5 individuals we already talked that made me loud about.
Okay. Do you know whether or not Juan Pablo Jaramillo, besides being a driver, for any of these individuals himself was a part of the criminal organization?
He was a driver.
Just a driver. Okay.
Yes.
I want to clarify something that was not maybe crystal clear earlier. Let's just go over it one more time. When that conversation that you had, we talked about Lasso, Salazar, your father, and you. Let's go back to that and just clarify that. During that conversation, were you face to face with Diana Salazar?
Yes, I was.
Okay. And did she get a phone call from a third person?
Yeah, she got a phone call on her phone. She answered, talked, and then passed it to me. Diana Salazar was here, and I was here, face to face, in the same office.
Who was on the other line of that call?
Guillermo Lasso.
Okay. And do you know what was the purpose of that call?
To let me know I had no choice.
And when you spoke to Lasso on that call, was that when Lasso told you that you should talk to your father or consider what the pressure was and what they were asking you to do at the time?
Yeah, he contacted my father because when I got out, I traveled. I worked a lot of years with Norero, but I don't have no money. You know, it's not like I have money in the bank or cash under the mattress. I got out with nothing, not even clothes, because they made you go out in shorts of jail. So I was living in my dad's house. My dad got some money, and he practically he sold me.
When you say he sold you, mean he sold you out?
Yeah, he didn't let me no choice. I couldn't return to the house I was living. I couldn't take my stuff out. He even kidnapped my cat for a couple of days. And I know it's can sound ridiculous, but I love my pet. You know, it's very important for me. So yes.
So your father's loyalties, if we want to call them that, were greater to this criminal, corrupt group of people that we've been talking about than it was for his love for his son, which is you. Is that an overstatement, or is that a correct statement?
A correct statement. He worked for them. He's part of all of this. He was the one that gave my address in Santa Cruz. I also know that. He doesn't want me alive too. I can talk a lot of things about him too.
Okay. All right. And the last thing I want to cover with you, just take a couple minutes just to make sure, because people who are listening or not listening, who might read this transcript might say, well, I wonder how much money Mr. Diaz is paying Marcelo Lasso or Jose Serrano or Ronnie Aliaga or Correa or Javier Jordan. Has anybody, any individuals who you were asked to falsely implicate, have any of those people or anybody on their behalf offered you any guarantees, benefits, monies, anything in exchange for the testimony you've given us here today in the deposition?
No, nobody has given me any money or promised me anything. The only reason I'm doing this is because my intention is to get into witness protection program for United States, as I've seen in television many times, and that I can raise my kid. I wanna see my kid get born. I want to live with my wife in the same house. I want to be able to be. We are a family. I want to be with them. I miss them.
Okay.
I'm afraid that I can raise my child.
All
That's
right.
the reason.
And hopefully that will happen for you, Mr. Lasso. We're going to go ahead and let me ask you this. We're going to go ahead and have this transcript typed up. Do you want to read it before it's typed up, or are you okay with us just having the court reporter type it up and give it to us as the official statement?
It's okay. I think all is very clear. I don't need to hear it again.
All right. So, Madam Court Reporter, we'll go ahead and waive reading, and we'll take that on an expedited basis, if you don't mind. Do you have any spellings you want to go over before we adjourn?
If I have any what, sorry?
Well, I'm asking the court reporter to see if she has any things that she wrote down, but she needs to correct the spellings. Let's see if she can
Okay.
tell us that.
Okay.
Mr. Diaz, let
Okay.
me just pause the recording for a